G'day viewers, and welcome to part 2 of my new fish room build. And before we get into the video, I'd just like to say a big hello to a couple of my viewers from down at Portland, Jane and Ian. So, hello Jane and Ian. Now this video has been a long time coming, but I've been very busy, but I have made some progress and everyone's sort of nagged me, wanting to know how it's going. Well, now you're about to find out. So quickly, the room is made out of cool room panel. If you didn't see the first video, it is 8 meters by 5 meters, but I'll put the link for the other video down below and up at the end. But let's get into this video. G'day viewers, welcome to episode 2 of my new fish room build, and hopefully you'll find this video illuminating because first off, I'm going to organise the lighting. So the idea is I'm going to have 4 recessed down lights in the room, so I can turn it on if I ever have to come in the middle of the night or whatever when the fish tank lights aren't on. And this end, we're going to do something a little bit special. So I plan on using these down lights for inside to light up whenever the aquarium lights aren't on. It's just always nice to have a bit of extra light if required. Now they've only got a short lead on, but we'll be probably pull apart this part and we'll run it and put all 4 on a common switch. So we need some holes for them. All right, so grab our 90mm hole saw. Now because the hole saw isn't deep enough to get all the way through the panel, we will have to knock out a bit of this styrofoam so it can reach. And if you've ever wondered where rice cakes come from, this is it. And that's why they taste like crap. Rightio, 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, which means we'll have 4 lights. Now up this end, the idea is have a tank here and lots of house plants growing out the top and all around. So instead of having to pay an absolute fortune running lights for all of those plants all day, my idea is plan on putting a skylight in. So hopefully that'll be enough for these plants. It definitely will in summer. I might even have to cover it if it gets too bright, but in winter it still should be enough. So let's install that one. Right, so the diffuser is going to go here. So I've measured half the diameter of the hole and put 2 holes in this little bit of timber. And I'll screw one on the center line, which was marked by our laser, which is there. In the other hole, put this little felt tip pen. So now I've drilled a hole to get started, and we'll just run the jigsaw around. But I'll have to unplug my light over there because this is the jigsaw I think that Noah used to build the ark, so I'll have to steal my extension cord, but we'll cut a hole. Righto, so that's the before. And that's after. And while it is an improvement, I don't think it's quite bright enough for what I want to do. So I think I might put 2 more in. I'll put 1 either side of that. And there we go, that looks much better. Brightens the room right up. But I know what you're thinking. Oh, you can't have a skylights. Every single tank in the room will be covered in algae. Well, I do have a bit of a plan for that, but you'll have to wait and see. And now these cool room panels are slipperier than an eel, covered in dishwashing liquid going down a water slide. So I'll need to just take that smooth edge off, otherwise the paint won't stick to it. So we've got some sanding to do. But as always, If I can form what I did with my mask, safety first, because this is going to create an awful lot of dust and noise. Righto, that's the end. So now, because we're all covered in dust, I'll give it all a good wipe over and then wipe it down with a bit of acetone, ready for the primer. Righto viewers, so all the priming's finished, and then I went around and I caulked all the corners with a bit of No More Gaps. It just gives a lot nicer finish and it'll just look better in the end. Now for paint, and I decided to go with a matte black. So that'll really add the cave into man cave. I really thought about it. It's matte, but it's a matte with a light base. It's a ceiling paint, so it'll have a little bit of shine to it, but not very much at all. Now, everyone I've spoken to about building a fish room, they all say the same thing. What about mould? All that humidity, what about mould? Well, when it comes to mould, I think that's a good time for today's top tank tip. So for today's top tank tip, clove oil, 100% clove oil. It's the stuff your nanny used when she had a toothache. Now, clove oil is great for killing and inhibiting mould. So if you've ever got any mould anywhere, you put a quarter of a teaspoon in a litre of water, spray it on, leave it, the mould will die. But we're going to use it in the paint. So that means we will never get mould to begin with. And I've lost my pipette, so just wait there while I go and get it. Right, so I found the pipette. So I'm going to measure an Australian teaspoon, which is about 5 ml, into 4 litres of paint. Now this isn't only good for fish rooms, you can also use it in your bathroom, laundry, any wet area or anywhere we're expecting mould to develop. Mix this in with the paint, no mould. So we give that a really, really good stir in. And that concludes today's top tank tip. Oh, thank God that's done. What are you laughing at?
What are you wearing?
What, these?
Hey, you idiot.
Well, it says for best results, use 2 coats.
Oh, you got no idea, have you?
What, do?
Hey, you don't. How'd you get this far?
Now, after 2 coats of paint, thank you very much, I think the room looks absolutely fantastic. That black has just enough shine to reflect without being too reflective. Now for the heating and cooling, Zach and Tom from DWR Services in Mildura have come out to install a Mitsubishi split system. So it'll heat the room in the winter and it'll cool the room in summer. And it's got a built-in dehumidifier and it works off the Wi-Fi and all sorts of stuff. This way we won't have to heat tanks, we'll just heat the room. And now that looks just fantastic, but that white stands out. So we'll hit it with a bit of plastic primer and then some flat black spray paint, and then we won't even notice it at all. And there you go. Now our heater / air conditioner has completely disappeared and it'll blend right in. And now because I had a little bit of paint left over, I thought I'll spray all the covers for the power points so they'll kind of blend in as well. At least I thought I'd do that, but then I ran out of paint and then had to go and get some more. What a bugger. Now, keen-eyed viewers might have noticed that there's a power point all the way up there. And the reason for that is Fish Room TV. So I'll mount a TV hanging up there so I'll be able to watch all my favourite YouTubers and David Elfish.
So in order to be able to watch my favourite YouTubers, I need to get internet to that TV. Now the Wi-Fi from the house just reaches the shed, but the signal is very, very weak all the way out there. And once I close the doors, I have none at all. So to combat that, I'm going to install a Wi-Fi extender inside the shed. And to supply that, I'm going to have to bury a Cat6 Ethernet cable all the way from inside the house. I run it up the wall, through the ceiling, then down. Then it'll have to go through a 10 metre or 30 foot trench I'll have to dig. And it's going to be fairly hard work because it's pretty warm today. So I'm going to wear myself out getting that one done, but hopefully we'll get there. And now it's time for the door or doors. Originally, because it's a 1200 or 4 foot gap, because I need to get some things in here that are 4 feet wide, I was going to join all this together, make it a little bit bigger and have an external sliding door so it just slid right out of the way. But I thought a better way to do it would maybe just have one main sort of PA door to get in and out and a smaller door which should remain fixed most of the time, but we could open it out when we need that extra room. Now these are the 2 panels that I cut out to make the doorway, and unfortunately this one is only 700, and if I want to get through sideways it's going to need to be a little bit wider. So I've joined them together and I'll mark 800, which is a standard door, which is there. So I'll mark that, I'll cut it, and I'll join these 2 pieces together, and that'll make the main door, and this will make our little auxiliary door. So let's get into that. Righto, so I've cut the door. This is the small door, and I went and got some, I think it's like a 1.2 or a 1.5 maybe mil steel flashing folded up, so that'll go around the edges, and then we'll pop rivet all that together, and that'll hold the door and stop anything moving, hopefully. And it'll give you something stronger for the hinges to rivet to. So now to hang the doors, I've decided to go with these lift-off hinges, which means once it's mounted, we can lift the door off. That way, if we need to bring in something really wide, we can just take the doors off very easily without having to undo any hinges. So let's fit them. Now here's a tip for all those aspiring builders out there. If you want to put the hinge, if you don't want it crooked like that, easy way to get it square is just fold it around the corner. A wise old truck driver taught me that. Now it's all nice and square. We can fit him in. Alright, so now I've got some packers underneath, and I've got a board across the bottom to keep it straight, and the packers will keep it off the ground. And so I have an equal gap on the top and bottom, and that spirit level is pretty much perfect. So now, without dropping anything, we'll rivet it in. Oh, I think that turned out pretty well. So all that's left to do is make another door, like this one. Beautiful. So this will be the main door to go in and out. And when I need to bring in something big, I can open them both up. And when I need to bring in something really big, I can lift those doors off the hinges. So now I just need to put some sort of architrave around the back, so we can put some rubber up to seal them, and we'll just secure this door. So it'll be pinned top and bottom, so it'll be fixed. It'll be just part of the wall until we need to open it.
Now, instead of going out buying some architrave, I just had some spare ply laying around, so I ripped some strips off of those. Then we put it around the doorway, so we'll have somewhere to stick some sticky rubber or something to seal it. And then we paint them so they blend in with everything else.
in here with that little pin, drilled a hole in the concrete. That'll keep this door still and give that one something to close against. How good is that? And after going to get some more paint, they're finished now. Doesn't that look a lot neater? And hopefully they won't stand out so much. So the electrician came out and he's wired up all the power points and the lights. And what I decided to do was wire each downlight onto its own separate switch so I can light up whatever part of the fish room requires lighting up at the time. So let's see how they work. Now I just have no idea what this is going to look like on the camera. But let's see, we go 1, 2, 3 and 4. Got to be happy with that result. Right, and just to prove that my genius knows no bounds, instead of wiring the room up through the circuit board, through the switchboard like a normal person would do, what I've done, I've wired it all independent, everything except the split system, it's wired up because it'll drain way too much. And the air pump, it'll be separate because it'll be on its own battery backup. But the rest of the room, I've wired it up, the electrician has wired it up to this external, it's like a caravan plug for when you go to the caravan park to plug the caravan in. And I have a lead here. Now this short lead, we will plug it into the caravan and then plug it into my outside power point and turn it on. So now I have room to the fish room. Now you're probably wondering why I bothered going through all of this. Well, over there I have a nice big, I think it's about a 6 kVA diesel generator, and it is going to sit right there. So if the power goes out, all we need to do is unplug it off the mains, plug it into the generator. And if I'm not home and the power goes out, I can ring a neighbour or someone to come and do it. All they've got to do is plug it in and press start. Now that is thinking ahead. Now righto viewers, that'll probably be enough for this video. I've probably bored you long enough, but we have a room. So now the next stage is to change the room into a fish room. So for that, next up will be the air and then the plumbing, both in and out. And I have some very, very interesting ideas that might even just work for the plumbing, so stay tuned for that one. But you know what they say, if you like, oh, hang on, there's one more thing I have to do. Don't go anywhere. Seriously, don't move. Now, no room is complete without the picture of the great man himself, the patron saint of beer, barbs and goldfish, Chris from Stubbs Aquatics. So now that we have him here, we officially have a fish room. So if you like leaving likes, leave a like, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Look, it says here right on the tin, best results, use 2 coats.
You with you. 2 coats of paint, not 2 coats of jackets. You're a wombat.
All right. Oh. I guess I never thought of that.